Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Aquarium Live program today as part of the Aquarium of the Pacific's Online Academy. My name is Alicia, and we're going to be exploring with the Ocean Rangers today. We're going to meet up with our friend Captain Joe. But before we start doing that, I want to let you know that there are lots of ways that you can participate with us today. I'm not alone here in my studio. I have my friends Allie and Kaya who are helping us out with questions and all of the things that you see behind me today. If you would like to text in questions, ideas, thoughts, things that you're curious about, you can contact our studio at 562-286-1838. For our programs today, we're going to be playing a few games. So we'll test to see if you are following along today. Now, don't worry, if you don't have a chance to text in, you can always shout out your answers. You can write them down. You can tell a family member, however you would like to participate today. We have some fun things stored for you. So we're going to be exploring today. Are you ready? Yeah. So let's go ahead and we're going to be exploring animals that live in the ocean and how they might sense their environment, the place that they live. Let's go ahead and look at some animals in their habitat here. Whoa! Do you see this giant group of fish? Yeah, we call a giant group of fish a school. Now, I want you to watch them. What do we notice about all of the fish? Why might they group together? And how do they know to all turn at the same time? Pretty interesting, right? So we're going to be exploring the senses that we have because a lot of other animals have very similar senses, maybe even how animals use these senses to find their food, keep away from predators, even find each other. So when we're looking at these animals, how do they, part of that story of how they turn and keep together is to do with their senses and how they use their senses. Now, to help us learn more, we're going to join with Captain Joe from, again, the Ocean Rangers here because I'm in studio. I've sent him out to do the exploring with us. So let's go ahead and give him a call and see if he's ready in our Northern Pacific Gallery.
Hello, boys and girls. Captain Joe of the Ocean Rangers. Now, I'm here observing this huge group of fish behind me. And if you just watching them, have you ever wondered on how they all move together and turn at the same exact time? I always thought this as well, and I think this is a great place for us to start our exploration of senses today. Now, there are many reasons why a fish would be in a group or school. Well, not that kind of school. I'm talking about a group of fish. It's called a school. Now, so many different reasons why they would be in it. Maybe finding food, avoiding predators, even getting new boyfriends and girlfriends. But have you ever wondered why they can do this or how?
Yeah, Captain Joe, maybe you can explain a little bit more for our explorers at home today.
Well, it just so happens that fish have the same senses as us, but they use them a little differently sometimes too. In addition to taste, smell, hearing, sight, and touch, they can also sense movement. And this is because of a special line of nerves down their side called a lateral line.
Oh, that's very interesting. Well, I wonder how they use some of their other senses in their habitat. Let's ask Joe, see if he knows.
That is amazing. And not only that, but studio, I think I just felt something swoosh against my arm here.
Really?
Definitely felt something.
Are you?
There it was again. Boys
Are
and
you
girls,
feeling
I
something?
think there is something
A change,
in
maybe?
here with me. I just don't.
That was highly unusual. Okay, studio, I think we're on our own. Okay, Captain Joe, I'm not sure exactly what I just saw, but we'll tune in and hope for the best. So we're going to take a break, and hopefully Captain Joe figures out whatever just happened. Oh, wait, looks like we're getting a text that he's okay, but we're gonna go ahead and check in on him in just a little bit. In the meantime, maybe we can kind of review just a little bit. So Captain Joe said that there are those five senses, right? But how an animal uses those five senses can be very different. So I'm excited to continue to talk about that. Why don't we take a pause and start our very first puzzle? I think let's do our puzzle. So Miss Allie, we're going to have our puzzle start. Now for our explorers out there, the tiles are going to slowly reveal part of an animal and then we're going to pause it. And if you'd like to text in or shout out what kind of animal you think is hiding behind those puzzle pieces. Okay, you ready? Here we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a little peek here. We'll put a number up. We've actually updated our number recently, so you want to go ahead and use this number down here. Thank you, Mr. Hermit Crab, but in fact, we're using our 562 number, 286-1838. So what animal do you think this is? Just by making some observations, what do you think this animal, now I'll give you a hint, this animal does live right around the ocean, doesn't spend its whole time around the ocean. Is it maybe a fish? Is it a dolphin? Sea turtle? What are some things on its body that could give you a clue about the type of animal it is? I wonder. So I'm noticing this nice dark gray and black coloration all around. And then this thing right here doesn't look like a scale of maybe a fish, right? Oh, and this part here is blurry because it looks like it's in motion and it has almost two that are the same shapes here. I wonder. Okay, Miss Allie, let's go ahead and see if our explorers at home had any guesses. Oh my goodness. Did you guess that it was a bird? Yeah, we call this a marine bird. So this marine bird lives by the ocean. Can you see any other things on its body that are interesting to look at? Yeah, it's called a crested auklet. How do you think this bird survives around the ocean? Oh, so there are some guesses that it was a seagull, another marine bird. Good job. So it is a bird, and it has, I don't know if you can see, look at those webbed feet. So instead of just having like little claws at the bottom to hold on, maybe like a parrot that spends all its time, on land, this bird has little feet with webbing in between to help it paddle really well. How might it catch its food? What do birds use to grab their food? Did you see it? Yeah, right here. This is the beak of our bird. It's that nice bright orange color. Perry said a pelican. Oh, another great example of a marine bird. And we say marine again, that's a bird that lives around the ocean. So this bird, the pelican, and the seagulls all use the ocean to find their food. Those are some really good thoughts coming in here. Now, what's really interesting about the auklets is that one of the ways that they help find each other, especially if they're trying to pair up, they have a scent. They smell like oranges, apparently. I have not personally sniffed an auklet, but the scientists out there say that when it is their breeding season, they have a scent that they like, and that's how they kind of find each other, find their partners. They also have this extra feather on the top that I think makes them look very sassy. And they can bobble around their head. I think to another auklet, this could look very easy to see from far away. So having a scent to smell, remember we use our noses to smell, and then they can see each other far away having this extra little tuft of feather. And that's really just to show off especially this color on their beak. You can see that nice dark color all the way around, and then this flashy beak is right by this flashy feather, and that's another way that they can find each other using their eyes. So they're even using their senses to help them partner up. So lots of ways to use senses out there to find each other, to show off a little bit. That's kind of the fun story of the auklet. And then this bird eats a lot of small schooling fish, kind of like puffins and penguins as well. They have kind of these shorter beaks to help them grab and put a lot of those little fish in their mouth at once. They'll even grab what we call krill. Krill is a shrimp-like animal. They're pretty small. I think we were showing a few for our other class earlier. Oh, hold on. I'm going to go off screen just a little bit just to show you. Ta-da! See those little wiggles? Those are really good snacks for an auklet. So they'll swim into a big school of these little shrimp-like animals and use that kind of pointed beak to grab a hold of them. They're pretty adorable. All right, looks like Captain Joe has finally sent us a message saying that he's okay and that we can visit him when we're ready in the Northern Pacific Gallery. So let's go ahead and tune in. Good job, everybody.
My octopus and I could play baseball
Captain
together.
Joe?
We'd be a whole team all by ourselves.
I don't know if he knows that we're tuned in.
Could you imagine that? So
Captain
crazy.
Joe? What? Isn't that your what are you doing?
Studio,
yeah.
call for help.
I think you're okay.
Can't fight tentacles for much longer. No bones.
Captain Joe, what
so
kind
flexible.
of octopus is that? I think you're being a little
It's purple
dramatic.
one. The kind that eats ocean rangers.
I don't think there are any octopuses out there that eat ocean rangers.
Well, that's good news.
Yes. Maybe we should learn a little bit more about the octopus.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I wonder where I could learn more information about octopuses.
Captain Joe, you're right by where the octopus lives. Yeah, right up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I am. I bet you we can find an expert really close that can teach us all about these awesome animals.
I agree, Captain Joe. I think that's a good next step. Okay, Captain Joe's a little silly, but, you know, sometimes you get what you get. He's out there and he's the one exploring for us, so sounds like he really likes those octopuses. All right, well, maybe as Captain Joe finds one of our aquarists, now aquarist is somebody who takes care of fish and invertebrates like the octopus. So the word invertebrate means no bones. So I'm hoping to learn a little bit about the octopus because they're so cool. They have no bones. But they also sense the world around them very different than we do. So I'm really excited. Again, if you have any questions, we'll go ahead and put up that number again. Thank you, Miss Allie. She's going to go ahead and put that up for you. If you have questions about octopuses, other animals without any bones, senses, or ocean animals, or even that auklet that we were talking about, don't be shy to text us in. You can also always email us after our program has gone live at lbaop.org. All right, so as we're waiting, we have a very special treat. We've asked our technician who works at the Molina Animal Care Center to give us a little tour of how we take care of our animals at our hospital. Because, you know, we have over 12,000 animals here at the aquarium, and that can be anything from a big sea lion to the octopus that we were looking at, to fish, to our birds like our penguins. That takes a lot of care. So I'd love for us to meet Shara, our veterinary technician, and get a little tour of the Molina Animal Care Center. There it is. Thank you, Miss Allie. So here's the building, and we'll go ahead and call in to Miss Shara.
Hi, boys and girls and ocean rangers. My name is Shara Seals, and I'm a veterinary technician here at the Molina Animal Care Center. This is our veterinary hospital for all of our animals here at the aquarium. We do take care of a lot of different types of animals here, from the smallest of fish to the biggest of sea lions. And then birds and reptiles too. Today I'm going to tell you a little story about one of our reptiles, Lloyd. He's a chuckwalla. His keepers noticed him acting a little differently, and so they brought him to the hospital so that we could check him out. Dr. Adams examined him, and I took x-rays of him, and this is what we found. Reptiles don't drink a lot of water, so waste doesn't pass through them like it should. Over time, inside Lloyd's bladder, this grew. It got too big, so we had to take him to surgery to remove it. Let me show you our operating room. This is where we performed Lloyd's surgery. All right, this is our operating table. For Lloyd's surgery, we put him under anesthesia with this machine right here, which means he went to sleep for a little while. And while he was sleeping, we listened to his heart and his lungs, and we even monitored his temperature with this mat that's kept him warm during surgery. During Lloyd's surgery, we were able to remove this. And afterwards, we gave him stitches so that he could heal. After a couple of weeks, the keepers brought Lloyd back to the vet hospital to remove his stitches. Lloyd was an excellent patient, and now he feels much better. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Shara. Wasn't that interesting? So if our animals are not feeling well, we tend to notice they do things like, maybe not eating as much, or they change the way that they normally act. We call this a change in behavior. And so when we noticed those things, we were able to look inside using some of the equipment, and that's the x-ray that you saw. So that big piece was able to be removed through what we call surgery, right? So they were able to put Lloyd to sleep, as you saw, didn't feel a thing, and then during the surgery, they were able to take out that kind of buildup that wasn't supposed to be in his body. And then they stitched him up, and he was able to recover. So chuckwallas are really cool. If you haven't ever heard of the chuckwalla before, they're also called desert iguana. They're really fun. They kind of look grumpy, but they're really sweet. Okay, so I had a great question from Natalie, who asked, what does the auklet sound like? So that bird that we were exploring a little bit earlier. And, I haven't been inside the exhibit personally, but Miss Kaya has pulled up some information. Apparently they have they have low nasally kind of mooing calls when they're breeding, as described by the scientists. So yeah, that's from Audubon. So that's really interesting. And I think we have a little bit of video. You can kind of see them through our exhibit here. I really like them. I think they have almost like little googly eyes. They're they're quite majestic, as you can see. We don't have any of the sound on there, Natalie, but I think that's a really good question. And I'm sure that's something that even scientists were very curious to hear as well. And it sounds like they have looked into it, which I think is really cool. All right, thank you, Miss Allie, for bringing up some of the video for our auklets. And then it looks like Joe has found our aquarist Angelina to ask a little bit more about our giant Pacific octopus here at the aquarium. So we'll go ahead and tune in.
Hello, boys and girls. Guess what? I found an expert that works here at the aquarium. This is Angelina.
I'm an aquarist here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. I take care of some of our fish and invertebrates that live in our cold water exhibits in our Northern Pacific Gallery. My favorite animal to take care of here at the aquarium is our giant Pacific octopus.
Now, we're here talking about senses today, Angelina. Could you tell us about some of the senses that an octopus has?
Octopuses are pretty amazing, Captain Joe. As you can see, she can change her color and her texture to camouflage herself while living in her exhibit. Now, not only can she do that, but she has hundreds of suction cups down her arm that she uses to grasp things like her food, as well as explore her exhibit. And she's really, really strong. Now, not only is she really, really strong, but with those suction cups, she can even taste.
Now, taste. We talked about this beforehand. Do giant Pacific octopuses eat ocean rangers?
Oh no, they don't eat ocean rangers. Our octopus here at the aquarium likes to eat fish, shrimp, squid, clam, mussels, and especially crab.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Angelina, on teaching us about our giant Pacific octopus. She's very, very cool. We're going to go ahead and head right back to you guys at the studio.
All right. Thank you, Joe. And thank you to Angelina. Now, it looked like the octopus really wanted to come out, especially when it saw Angelina. So our octopus have personalities, and they're said to be the smartest of all of the invertebrates out there. So they have the ability to remember, which is pretty incredible. So they do recognize the people that take care of them, and they're really fun addition to our aquarium family here, is having those octopus. All right, so let's see if you were paying attention. We have a little question of the day today to explore, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit more about our octopus here at the aquarium, and about some of the other invertebrates and how they might compare using their senses. So let's see what our question of the day is, Miss Allie. What is an octopus's favorite food? Is it A, crab, B, fish, or C, jellyfish? Now, if you would like, you're welcome to text in. What do you think an octopus really likes to eat for lunch? I wonder. Now, as you are thinking about this, maybe we'll put your number up one more time. Miss Allie's working on that. So that's okay. So I think we'll take a little pause. So A, crab, B, fish, or C, jelly. Maybe we'll take a little pause and show you some footage from our octopus while you have a chance to answer, because there's a little bit of a delay between our broadcast, I think, and time to answer questions. So in case you wanted to text those in, you're welcome to do so. We'll play some of our octopus footage here and show you a little bit more. There we go. So this is this octopus here. This is one we have right on exhibit. Now I want you to take a look at the outside of our animal here. So not only are they able to stick onto things with their suction cups and taste, which is really cool, but you probably already know this, they can change their color, and they can even make themselves smooth or bumpy on the outside. Oh, it looks like Natalie is saying a crab. Oh, here we go for our questions too. So if you had a guess to see if it was A, the crab, B, the fish, or C, the jellyfish. So the octopus here is exploring its exhibit. It's sticking on with those suction cups. And then it is, which is really cool. You can see that kind of happening here. But they're also tasting everything. Can you imagine tasting everything that you touch? Good for the octopus. Maybe in our environment, not so good. Once it does grab its prey, it is able to bring that food all the way up to the middle of its body. And in the center there, it has something pretty cool. Has a beak, and that hard beak allows it. I think we might even have an example of that up here. We do. So it's kind of this really interesting piece. Ta-da! Opens and closes like this. This would be the size for a bigger animal like this. They will crack open their prey. I might have given you a hint. Was there any of those animals we suggested that you might be able to crack open? Oh, well, let's go ahead and take a look at our answer. All right, octopus, which one did you choose? Oh, the crab. Good job, everybody. So that crab has that hard shell. Now, it will try to grab fish if it can, but they do tend to like those hard-shelled items. And again, that's because they kind of have the nice tools inside their mouth to be able to do that. And out there's just over 300 different kinds of octopus. Some of them are like the giant Pacific octopus that are really big, but many are a little bit smaller. We have a couple off of our coast, like our little two-spot octopus and our red octopus. Some of them like to live in the deep ocean, and they have some really cool cousins like squid and octopus. So lots of really cool animals. I love talking about octopuses. If you're interested, we have classes that happen just about our octopus on the online academy. So check out our schedule and some of our previously recorded if you're interested in learning more. All right, so we've done our question of the day. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some other animals, some other examples of how animals use their senses. So for example, we talked very briefly for our game about jellyfish, also known as jellies, as we call them here at the aquarium. This is a moon jelly. Now, looking at the moon jelly, does it have, just by looking at it, do you think it has some of the same senses as us? Does it have some of the same body parts as us? Yeah, jellies are often described as so simple they're complicated. They don't really have a face. Not all animals in the ocean have faces. They don't have eyes. This animal doesn't have a brain. But it is still sensing the world around it. In fact, right along this main part here called a bell, it has a little sensory organ, and it's kind of like a little round space with hairs on the inside and a little bubble. And if that bubble floats to the top, it tickles those hairs and lets the jelly know, oh, you're faced up. And if the jelly turns on its side, the bubble floats up and tickles those hairs. Oh, you're on its side. So that little sensory organ tells the jelly kind of where it is positioned towards the top or the bottom of its home. And it also can kind of, I wouldn't say maybe taste and smell in the ocean kind of cross over a little bit, but it can detect a little bit of the water and the chemicals in the water, so if there's food. So jellies aren't seeing like we are, they're not hearing anything, but they are sensing and feeling around them. And not all animals need all of those senses. So animals do use their senses, but they can be very, very different than ours in how they use those senses, which I think is really fascinating. All right, let's go ahead and say goodbye to Captain Joe as we're wrapping up our time here.
Well, thank you, boys and girls. It was my pleasure taking you through the aquarium today and teaching you more about animal senses. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to get back to some research that I started earlier today. Captain Joe, signing out.
Oh, that is our official Ocean Ranger salute. Are you going to read that book again? All right, Captain Joe, we're going to go ahead and leave you. It looks like we have one more question from Natalie. So maybe we'll go back to our studio. Thank you, Miss Allie. And the question was, what do jellies sting and eat? Actually, if we go back to that video, you could actually see some of the food floating all around their home are plankton. There's actually some good views of the plankton here. I don't know if you can see them. If you look closely, you can see the little antennae on, there you go, that one right there, right before it cleared, right here. This is a copepod. And this is an animal that it's about to eat. So you're right, Natalie, they do have tentacles for stinging. And once they sting that food, it makes its way into these fluffy tentacles called the oral arms. And then you can see where that food is kind of being gathered at the very bottom. It stung it, and then it moves it to the center of its body where it digests it in these stomachs. Yep, they have more than one stomach. If you ever have a chance to visit our aquarium, we have a touch area, our moon jelly touch area, and you can count how many stomachs they have. Most of them have 4, but some of them have 6, which is really cool. So you can kind of see those on the inside. Easy to look when the animal is see-through, right? So that is what the jellies eat. This jelly eats mostly the smaller plankton. That's why it's okay for us to touch them here at the aquarium. Our skin is so thick compared to their stingers, it doesn't go through. Other jellies, like let's say our big Pacific sea nettles that we have off of our coast, They can eat much bigger things. They have much larger tentacles, and they can sting fish, and they will even sting and eat other jellies. I know, kind of crazy. Don't tell them jellies. So they are predators of any of these drifting animals, mostly plankton like we see here, but some do eat larger critters. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for the questions and participating along with us. We have one more class today, and we have classes throughout the week. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.